What in the world? Who let all the goats out? How did you guys all get out? What in the world? Can you let Nora out, please? You guys, we got... Oh, the whole fence is down over there. What? Man. Okay. Oh, we're losing our other batch here. Okay, well, come on, babies. Come on. Come on. You're looking pretty chunky there, Henry. My goodness. So big. Hi. What in the world? There's no way that that's... Is that really where they got out? Oh, they put a hole right through it. How? I've never in my... No, what? You guys. Welcome back. It's been a hodgepodge mess of videos and not completing sentences and not completing ideas, I think. It's June 2nd. It's a brand new month. And we are just kind of coasting. I'm really struggling this morning with deciding on new videos to make, to not be repeating, the same old. So I would really love it if you could leave some ideas of things that you would like to see, even questions that you might have, and I can do my best to answer them in follow-up videos. It's a lovely morning. It's a little bit chilly, but the sun is out and we have a nice breeze going on. They want your dandelions. Hello. What? If you want some merch, I will drop the link in the description to my Etsy shop and my online store. There's a few options. Check it out. A fun aspect of goats is how much they wreck fences. Oh my goodness, because they're climbers and because they like to put their front feet on things, they squish stuff down. This should have been stapled up to this top rail, but it was not. And so actually just yesterday I had Denny, who's the spotted buck right there, get out here. He had just laid this fence down and hopped right over. I knew it was coming. I knew it was like barely holding them in. So anyways, I put up this other bar plank just to keep them in. But this whole I'm not really sure. This whole buck pen really needs an overhaul just because we've got fence posts that aren't stable. The goats will really only push the fence if they don't have enough of what they need. So if they're hungry, they're gonna push fences. I made the mistake of putting a hay bale. Well, number one, they were stepping on this, so I also put one up here and stapled this wire up. And this is not cheap wire. We did not cheap out on the wire that we purchased, but they still find ways to wreck it. So they put their front feet on there, and they're like, 150-pound goats, and so then they break these joints, and then it creates holes. Well, that's what happened here. I was super smart, and I put a bale right here because I wanted to be able to feed them on this side for a change. And so then I was like, sweet, I got a bale, I can feed the does, and I can feed the bucks without having to haul it anywhere else. And then I can take hay from here and take it to Spud the calf, just around the corner. It was a flawless plan until it wasn't. Well, then they stepped on this and they were eating the hay bale over the fence because, the hay is always nicer across the fence. And they stepped on it so bad that they broke some joints down here. And they actually then used their noses to make holes, and the babies just hopped right through. So we came home from church yesterday, and all of my goats were in my yard, yelling at me and saying, "What's going on?" And yeah, that was frustrating to come home to. So in the rain, I screwed up these 2 boards and a piece of plywood, just temporarily fixing it. And by temporary, will it be like this for a few weeks? Very likely. Because that's how temporary goes, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Except, well, it's mostly broken, so we should fix it. So I don't know, like boards probably would be the best way to go to make like a whole wooden corral out of them. Screw the boards on the inside, but that's a lot more cost, I think. But I don't know, if it lasts longer, then maybe it's worth looking into making this a whole wooden corral type of thing. The hard part is that they don't push unless, like I said, they're hungry or there's something that's tempting them right across the fence. Spud is yelling at me, so we'll go take him some food and go check on him. He is now completely weaned and he seems to be doing absolutely fine. No like drastic weight loss or anything like that, but he definitely lets me know if he's out of hay, so I'm gonna go haul him some. Due to the nature of like how our spring has gone, I did not envision not be milking right now, which is the whole reason why we got a bottle calf, was to feed the excess milk to him, because I knew we'd be swimming in it. But then with mastitis issues, stuff changes, and so I have listed him for sale, just because either we keep him and feed him all summer and then take him and sell him in the auction in the fall. He basically goes to a feedlot, gets finished out, or we sell him now. But people, when they want bottle calves, for some reason they want to still be feeding them, even though I'm like, he was a bottle calf and he is very friendly and all those things. Because he's weaned now, it seems like people aren't really as interested in getting them anymore. So I don't know, we'll see. We might end up with him all summer anyways, and if so, then that's fine. It's not very much as far as chores go, honestly. Like, it's a matter of feeding the goats and the calf now, and so it doesn't take very long, unless I'm yakking at you guys, and in that case it takes me a long time. But in this case, these guys are pretty respectful. It's not real tall. What is it called?
It's called a mitten.
Right here, that's called the mitten?
Mm-hmm.
It's a mitten for your popsicle?
Yeah.
She tells me she needs a mitten for her popsicle. I said, what do you mean a mitten? Oh, like a paper towel. Kids should be in charge of naming everything, right? That's the opinion. They would come up with the coolest, most ridiculous names for stuff. So now that the horses are all over at my parents', I'm not using the hot wire, so I've got to wind it up, pull all the stakes, and then mow the front yard, and then pick up a few piles of manure that I did not get to yet. I'm getting tired of the yard looking disgusting, and so I've got to do some cleanup. I figured I could start with mowing the grass, and that will be a kind of a quick fix for some of the stuff that's looking so disgusting. You guys are so cute. Babies everywhere. So we're gonna take down all of this wire, and then I'll come back with the mower and I'll mow all this nice and level. They decided to poop mostly in one area, so that's joyous. I really don't want to pick up all this poop, but whatever. Hey, mister. Happy trails, my friend. Spuddy boy. Buddy.
Ben.
Yep. Not while we're waiting though.
Mom, I actually see the smoke. What's your oven? What's the oven? It's behind the bus. The bus. I can see it. Okay, welcome in.
Good morning. I'm still half asleep, but that's because I always set my alarm for as late as possible so I can wake up and just go. And that's probably not the healthiest habit to have. Anyways, I am taking 5 of my little boys to a hauler. He is hauling them to basically a livestock auction where they will be sold and then go to a feedlot, essentially, be raised for meat. And that is just the harsh realities of farm life. It's extra difficult to think about the fact that I was there when each of these guys was born. I was awake through the night feeding them with a bottle, and now it's time to say goodbye after 4.5 months of raising them. And that is the way that it is. So these 4 I did band. They're wethers, technically, because I wanted that decision made for me and that I wouldn't go back on it and be like, well, maybe they'll be fine as a buck. I just wanted to ban them so that I didn't make a stupid decision. And so this guy right here is one of Reba's. And as we all know, Reba had kind of just an atrocious udder with massive teats, poor attachments. And I kept her daughter, but I decided to ban the boys. And looking at them now, they grew really nice. And they don't actually look that bad. But the mammary system is where the holdup would be for them. They're such nice temperaments, and so I'm really hoping that that carries through with Arwen, would be their litter mate sister. And so he was banded, and then this is the other brother in that set. This guy was born trying to come spine first, and so we had to do some rearranging when he was born, and there was a chance that we could have lost him. But we didn't. We saved ya. And then we've got one of Sage's boys. And Sage's boy is also going to go. He is also a wether. She's a first freshener, and I didn't feel comfortable selling him intact, even though she did earn her milk star this year. I really didn't like some of the things that I was seeing, especially with like the weakness in the front pasterns. And so I'm going to try to breed her to a buck with stronger legs and see if we can have a better outcome, a better cross. And then, of course, last but not least of the wethers, oh my goodness, why are we exploring over here? Is Dum Dum. And so the main thing with Dum Dum is the fact that he has an underbite, and you are, don't sell a buck with an underbite, because those genetics then will be passed on to most of his offspring. That was one of the main reasons why I sold his dam, Winnie, was because of the underbite, and she had one as well that was actually affecting the way that she was breathing. And so I'm letting him go as a wether. And then the last one that is actually intact is this guy. Come here. Come here. Can you go walk? And I had thought about keeping him and growing him out. He's my last buckling that's intact. But he lacks some of the basic things that we should be seeing with our Nubians. And that's that Roman nose. He doesn't really have a great Roman nose. And then like his front legs are nice and straight, but his back legs are not overly straight. He walks nice and wide. He's decent from the back. But then that angulation, what I'm talking about is that he's not really straight down. So he's kind of, I don't really know the proper words to describe it, but he's not straight like he should be. So I am probably going to struggle again with finding hay this year. I have been dipping into our extra stash of what we bought for horse feed, and that's what the goats have been getting. They're not gaining weight real well as far as the kids go, so I've actually started feeding the kids like a mash and a grower. I had been feeding them grain for a little while, but I'm gonna start doing that again. I just noticed, especially with a couple of them, they really seemed to lose weight, and so I'm going to try to supplement them a little bit, just because I don't think that they're getting everything that they need from their hay, which is to be expected. But yeah, just one more aspect. Anyways, these little gaffers, even though they're small, they eat a lot. Hi. They eat a lot of food. You do. And we are facing another year of drought and another year of wildfires. A lot of farmers are not even sure they're going to get crops off this year. We're talking like if we don't get rain in the next 2 weeks, farmers are talking about tilling their crops under, because there's just, everything is scorched. And like we took a drive out Cecil Lake Way yesterday, and it's just that, like the crops, they're just not growing. And so that to be said, I want to not be feeding out hay if I don't have to goats that are just there to eat. And unfortunately, I'm never going to recoup my costs with them. I've punched the numbers, and even if I were to raise them to like butcher weight myself and then sell them as like cut and wrapped goat meat to the community, I'm still not going to make my money back. And so I just have to make the decision of I just have to get rid of them. And yes, I did. I tried to sell them as pets, and I tried to sell them as bush eaters, and that was no go. So I did try the other alternatives. I hate just shipping them off to the auction, but they'll just get purchased by a meat buyer essentially, and they'll basically stuff their faces in a feedlot for several months, and then they'll be butchered after that. So not really a ton different than what I do, other than obviously I'm not a feedlot, and I probably care a little bit more about my animals. Hey, I know. small dose of probiotics just to help with the stress of travel. Good boy. Come on, usually you like it. Covered in nasties. Here. Oh, just tapped it. What are you doing escaping? And I'm doing a marker. So that they know which goats are mine. Give it pretty nice close up. Just kidding, it's just a rolly tattoo ball. Right, it's only a 16-minute drive, which is why I have them all kind of squished together. And it's nice and warm, so they don't really need to be covered. Yeah, this will be a quick trip to the truck, and then get make sure all the paperwork is sorted out, and we will load them out and say goodbye. It's just, yeah. It's not how I had envisioned this turning out, but I would rather send them here rather than like giving them away to a family or people that aren't going to take care of them. I understand that it's a short life when they're going to a feedlot with the intended purpose of butchering, but that was my intent as well. There was not really an alternative for them. And you can't let them all go as breeding bucks. You just can't. I did sell a couple as breeding bucks, but only one went registered, and another one went as like an unregistered buck. So it's tricky. Yes, I've lost a lot of money this year. I will not recoup my costs by sending them to the auction. But at a certain point as a farmer, there's a saying where you have to stop the bleeding. This is what I'm doing, is I'm trying to stop the bleeding by shipping 5 mouths to feed. And, it's not a matter of do we care about them, do we love them. It's not a matter of, I'm sending them to a place that's going to abuse them. There's just a temporary couple days that would be stressful, and then they get to settle into their feedlot style home, and then raised until they are big enough to be butchered. And so in that way, it's not really a whole ton different than what I do, other than, like I mentioned, I'm not a feedlot, and we are a lot more hands-on and cuddly with our babies. But this is the side and the reality of breeding, and that's why I think probably a lot of people are against breeders, is that, but like, what about the animals? And I understand, but at the end of the day, they are also animals. It's not really any different than a cow-calf operation where you ship your calves in the fall when they're weaned. And that is what most people do. And so for goats, it doesn't have to be much different. Other breeders I talk to do the exact same thing, because they don't want to let inferior genetics through as breeding sires. And I would way rather do this where I do lose money instead of lying to somebody and saying, yeah, this is going to be a great herd sire, when maybe in fact that they aren't. And so I want to be incredibly careful, even in the future, who gets sold as a breeding buck or a herd sire. Which is also why, if you remember my kidding videos, where I think it was after Rose's birth, and I was just leaning across the fence and like, I am so thankful that they're healthy, but I'm also incredibly frustrated that they're boys, because I knew that this was the reality. It's not like they all get to stay as pets. That's just not the reality of breeding. And as your goal is to raise higher quality genetics, there's lessons that you have to learn along the way. Like the lesson that I've learned that Grant, this guy's daddy, is not as good as I hoped that he would be. So as he matures, instead of, typically they start looking better and better as they get older, peaking around age 4 or 5, he continues to look worse. And so he's a 2-year-old now, and he's lacking some fundamental confirmation musts, and he is actually on the list to sell. And because he has a great udder behind him and some genetics that are sought after, I am trying to sell him as a registered breeding buck, just because some people, all they're out for is to produce good milk. And he's not that bad, so to speak, but in my eyes, he's not good enough to stay. And so Grant is on the list to sell. Hopefully he does sell. And yeah, I'll tell you guys, like, I did not make a dime this year between the premium organic alfalfa hay that I purchased back last fall. And it turned out to be, 4 out of the 12 bales or whatever it was were completely moldy, like to the point where I could not even feed it to my animals. At like $185 a bale or whatever it ended up being, was a huge waste. And then this spring, with all my vaccination scares of the lumps and the CL and then the mastitis, I have probably easily over $1,000 in vet bills just from this spring alone. And not to mention all of your other expenses, right? Your grain when you're feeding your milk goats, or payment to register your animals, and just there's so many costs that people don't realize. Things like heating the barn, my shavings that I used for bedding, and like I did not make money. I did not make money this year, and that's really hard when already finances are maybe not exactly as fluid as I would like them to be. That is the reality of farming. It's the reality of raising animals and livestock, is sometimes you don't even break even. And hopefully then next year is a better year. And we do it because we love it. Not because we necessarily make bank, so to speak. It's because we love the lifestyle and what it provides for our family. And we believe that that aspect of things is not able to be valued with dollar signs. And so, yeah, decisions like this are tough, but at the same time, these guys are eating a crazy amount of hay. And because I know what type of year we are having, I am nervous again about making sure that I have enough hay to feed my animals this winter. And you might be thinking I'm crazy to be thinking about winter in June, but winter's not that far off. We have all of June, July, August, September, and October is typically when winter starts. We're already feeding hay, pretty much all year round, just because of the way our setup is. But, yeah, we will figure it out. This is one step, but yeah, I know other breeders that even like as early as they can send their wethers or like their not breeding stock, they ship them at like a week old, where they would still be on a bottle. They ship them. They get like $50 a piece for them. But I've done the math that per kid, it's over $300 by the time you, and this is just the like from the time that they're born to the time that they're of weaning age. You're looking at about $300 worth of care at a minimum. And so the auction prices right now, I'm probably only gonna get like max probably $150 per each of these kids. So you tell me, am I making money? No. Am I making this decision because I'm going to make money? No. It is because I have to be realistic about the fact that we're going to have a hard time finding hay probably this year. And whatever hay we can find is not going to be cheap. And so I have to already be thinking about the future, and also just realistically, what do these boys offer my farm that the other goats don't? And the answer is nothing. We can snuggle and cuddle and love all of the other goats that we have, and they actually provide a hope for a better future for our breeding program, and that is the spiel. Yep. Here we go.